Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. As I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, in this most recent update, we've had an absurd amount of premium vehicles, and a lot of the time, they kind of goes under the radar. We might have I don't know, like a quarter or a fifth or even fewer vehicles being premium vehicles, and typically it's like, okay, whatever. But in this most recent update in Danger Zone, we've seen 14 out of the 42 vehicles, so 1/3 of them being premium, and of those, we've had 5 pack vehicles, which as far as I could go back, or as far as I look back, which is a few years of updates on the War Thunder Wiki, which I'll try to link below, Danger Zone seems to have the highest percentage of premium vehicles being pack vehicles, which just skips the middleman of saying, hey, let's go get some Golden Eagles. Typically, vehicles that you purchase via Golden Eagles tend to be low and mid BR, but pack premiums tend to be high BR, and that is what we're seeing here. So I'll just kind of give you an example of some of the research I did, and also Ash has a great video on this. I'll try to link it below. He looked at if War Thunder was a $60 game rather than a free-to-play game, which it is currently now. That being said, in Danger Zone, 14 out of the 42 vehicles were premiums, with another one being a high-tier squadron vehicle in the M1A1 AIM. That could be unlocked, of course, with Golden Eagles. And of those 14 vehicles, 5 of them are pack vehicles. In Wind of Change, which is the most recent update from Danger Zone, we have 7 out of the 54, so half of the amount of premiums, with still 12 more regular vehicles in-game. And only 1 additional being a squadron vehicle. Now, 3 out of the 7 were pack vehicles. In Winged Lions, only 1 out of the 46 vehicles released, brand new vehicles, was a premium vehicle, and another one was a squadron vehicle. Groundbreaking, which was the one before Winged Lions, 4 out of the 27 were premiums, and 2 of those 4 were pack vehicles. Now, you'd have to go all the way back to New Power in December 2020, where 18 of the 48 vehicles added were premiums. And half of those, so 9 out of the 18 were ships, with only 3 of the total 18 being pack vehicles. The reason why I think that there were so many premium vehicles, not saying that it's necessarily a good thing, but the reason why I think there were so many vehicles that were premium for the New Power update is simply because it was a very ship-oriented update, and 9 of those vehicles of the 18 were ships. So I think because they first introduced battleships to that, a lot of people were like, whoa, I gotta go play some Naval. They really wanted to capture in on it. They probably actually had a ton of premium ships already on the roster, and because ships come in classes, and there's not really all too much difference between ships in the same class, maybe a few anti-aircraft armament differences, whatever the case may be, Gaijin just had a bunch of ready-made vehicles that they could just put in game as a premium and say, hey, you want these new battleships? Here you go. And that's probably what they did there. A bit of an exception in the past, but nothing quite like what we're seeing here with the newest update. And the reason being is because, again, of those 14 vehicles, 5 of those were pack vehicles. So about 35 to 40%, I'm just doing the quick math in my head, are pack vehicles. Again, cuts out the middleman. You pay directly to Gaijin to get these vehicles, and if I'm not mistaken, all of them are high-tier vehicles, like the Lightning F-53, the Z-19E, if I'm not mistaken, the Milan, you have the Challenger DS, you have the Leopard 2A4 Premium. All of them are premium vehicles that are right at the top, and they all cost $50, $60 USD, which is absurd. And the crazy thing about this is that they're all pretty much just reskins, right? So it's not like even with the Harrier GR1 where it's like, okay, you know what? This is a different vehicle and that it has different capabilities. The premium Leopard 2A4 is just a premium Leopard 2A4 with a camo net on it and without a dozer blade. Whereas the Challenger DS is, if I'm not mistaken, literally just a Challenger Mark II. It says Mark III in game, but if I'm not mistaken, it has the exact same capabilities of the Mark II. If you want, I would strongly encourage you check out what I mean just by comparing the modules on the Challenger Mark II, Mark III, and DS. I'll try to put my review for all of the New Power vehicles linked below, and that coincidentally is one of the real reasons why I'm kind of noticing this, because in my channel I like to review things. I like to just kind of say, hey, make sure you're spending your $30, $40, $50, $60 well, and I've been doing a ton of reviews. If you haven't noticed, I've been putting out like a video a day over the last 2 weeks, and it's not necessarily because that's what my regular schedule is, but but rather that's because of the immediate content that came out with Danger Zone, and so much of it is just copy-paste, as I said before. Leopard 2 Premium, or Leopard 2A4 rather, the Challenger Premium, we have the Stuka Premium even, which is just a few golden eagles, but the thing is, I'm noticing, I think, was that like a 1.3 BR vehicle, but it costs what, 400 GE if I'm not mistaken, which is really high for that BR. And then you have a whole bunch of other vehicles as well. You have the Lightning F53, which itself is pretty much just a reskinned Lightning F6, but with additional ground attack capabilities, albeit it does look cool with the ground attack capabilities, and I will have a review on this out soon, hopefully, but it's not really all that great. It's pretty much just a Lightning with weird rocket placements. And much the same goes with the Milan. It's got a different nose to it because it's got a laser designator, which it can't even use because it doesn't have the ordnance for it. And it's also got like canard wings that come out of it. But aside from that, it's pretty much just a reskin of a regular Mirage in-game. It's not really all that special. And so you're seeing a lot of these vehicles with very minor differences, whether they're decals, camo nets, whatever the case may be. And only one of the 5 pack vehicles is a totally new vehicle in-game. Only one of them. And that's the Z19E, which itself is a unique vehicle, but it's also the first vehicle of the Chinese helicopter tech tree, so there will likely be other vehicles that are very similar to this that come out once the regular Chinese air or helicopter tech tree rather is released, probably in the next update or 2. So while it's a unique vehicle right now, it probably won't stay that way for long. And of course, there are always going to be various versions in-game of different vehicles. Of course, I can't just expect every premium vehicle to be a unique vehicle. It just is what it is, or event vehicles for that matter. Very few times do you see something like the F11 F1 for the American Air Tech Tree where it's just a unique event vehicle and they don't release another version of that anytime in the future. And I really love the F11 F1, but I'm not expecting that every single time. I'm expecting something like the Buccaneer S1 and the S2, or the F5C and the F5E, things like that. But we are seeing right now where it's just, in total, we are seeing 4 top tier, or rather high tier, premium vehicles that are just reskinned copy-paste vehicles being released, and they cost a total of $240 if you wanted to collect all of them. And that's it. Between the Milan, the Lightning F53, the premium Leopard 2A4, and the premium Challenger Mark II, we are seeing a total of $240 if you want to collect all of them. And bear in mind, these are perfectly good grinding vehicles. I'm not doubting their effectiveness in match. I've had a great time with each one of them, with the exception of the Milan for the most part, because that vehicle is just booty chatter, but you can, again, check out my review for that below. But we are just seeing a ton of it looks like a lack of effort, just to put it quite frankly, and albeit, I've seen an interview where apparently it takes weeks or months to really hammer out designs in-game for planes because they have so much that they have to do to put a plane or a tank or especially a ship together, where it's just a ton of work for the modeling, getting the aircraft right, everything, and I cannot doubt it because some of these planes in-game are absolutely beautiful, or tanks, whatever, it doesn't really matter the type of vehicle. Some of them are beautiful, and I cannot wait for the more modern, well, relatively modern battleships coming out in War Thunder. Once those come out, oh man, I will be playing Naval. But the thing is it just feels a little lazy, that we're getting this new update with the F-14, and that's pretty much what it feels like. It's just the only real new vehicle. The Z19E as well, but that's kind of like a kill streak reward, whereas the F-14 is kind of like the only real new vehicle that I noticed. It's the only real notable vehicle as far as of course you have the G6, you have the BTZ or whatever it is, the Russian AA. Very good vehicles in their own right, but insofar as the only real notable, extremely hyped vehicle, it's the F-14. I remember when Red Skies came out, the F-5C versus the MiG-23, or the F-5E, everyone was doing it. That was awesome. It was just a counterpoint. You had 2 vehicles that could just go toe-to-toe against each other, and it was a ton of fun. But now you just have the F-14A, and that's it. There's not really a MiG-29 or some other vehicle that could just go up against it. And albeit the F-14, it's a very high skill cap vehicle. The really good people with it are really good, and the bad people with it are obviously really bad, and they just bought their way up to it. But that's beside the point. It's just, we are seeing a ton of not new content being pushed as new content, and that's Danger Zone. And, to kind of make fun of the update name, that's a dangerous zone to be in. You know, that's a really dangerous thing to do, where the criteria for a new update is just old vehicles being reskinned and packaged as premium so you buy them with hard cash. That's just, I don't know. You know, again, I understand Gaijin has to make their money, but this just seems a little excessive, you know? But either way, you know, I could go on about this. I could rant for another 10, 20, 30 minutes, but I won't, you know, because the last thing I want to do is just talk in circles and do whatever. So just let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm interested to hear your opinions, because this is a really interesting time in War Thunder's history, especially coming up on the 10-year anniversary, where you'd think that, hey man, there's going to be a lot of player-oriented content, but it just seems like a lot of wallet-oriented content, and it's a little unfortunate. You know, of course, maybe we're going to see like the premium account go up in price. I wouldn't be too surprised. Honestly, if that's what it costs to keep afloat, maybe another 50 cents a month, I don't know. You know, whatever the case may be, something small, but to see all of these pack vehicles that are $60 each, and if you throw in the Z19E, that's almost $300 worth of pack vehicles coming out with this update, and I can guarantee you a bunch of people bought them, all of them. So let me just know what you guys think in the comments below, but aside from that, please subscribe and like this video. It's really awesome for the algorithm. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.